what we're going to do is we're going to now go on to work from the students of the One School Goa or alumni. So this is the this week's winner for the window thing. So over to you, Jaideep, and then I'll come in once.
Yeah. I think what was nice is that we both saw this image completely differently. And
Hmm.
I think that was the beauty of this image. There's a lot going on, and it's what you as an individual, as a viewer, pick up from this image.
Yep.
And again, there are images, stories within stories. It's one of those things that, you look at it and you can start making up your own stories. Why are these people here? And there's a lady sleeping in there. I don't know, again, if you can see that really well.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting portrait of that lady lying in the room. There's a little window and there's a car. So there's a lot of going on, stories within stories, frames within frames.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, that more than photographic prowess, there's a good balance. There's a lot of storytelling going on, and interesting portrait of the lady down, who's
Yep.
lying down there.
Yeah. So what happened is both of us, as Jaideep just said, that both of us saw it differently, and we studied and we talked about it. Jaideep also felt, and which I agree with, that just if it was vertically cropped and leave the two men out, just the woman lying down like that with the window and the car, still it makes a great picture.
Yeah.
And yet with these two men, it tells a different story.
Right. Exactly.
As to what's kind of happening, and it's interesting. It's very, very
Yeah.
interesting the way it's all happening. So yeah, so I think that wins it. The first place this time. It's by a student called Prithviraj Patil. Prithvi Patil, we call him. He's from Kolhapur, and he's a final year student this year in a 3-year program. And his work ethic is good. He's very creative, and I'm happy to see that he's put in a great image. And the other thing I liked about this picture is his crop. As we talked about the crop earlier, he's got a kind of a cinematic crop to it,
Yes.
the horizontal cinematic crop,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
makes a big difference to the thing. That's why it
Yeah.
looks cinematic, and that's why maybe we all got dragged into it. Yeah, so that was the winner. So we've got shout out for three more of the students' work, which is here we go. We'll just go for it now. Yeah. That's by a student called Dhaval Kadam, who's now based in Bombay. He passed out last year, and he's doing some great work in fashion and other things. So Dhaval, well done. And I'm going to let Jaideep talk about it. We had a good amount of discussion on this picture as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just that things are just almost there but slightly off. I think that's the charm of this image. Not everything has to be perfect and not everything has to be lined up, and it's just that slightly uncomfortably off. It doesn't sit. It's not perfection within its asymmetry. I like the things like there's
right.
one triangle facing a little this way, and there is your drawing lines. There's a crow. It breaks a lot of conventional sort of formulas to put together this image, and
Yep.
within its own I would say not imperfections, but within its own personalities. Like the sky is a very strong sky. It does draw you in. You see these lines. You can't take that. You can't ignore it. There's a crow right there. So within all these graphic
Right.
lines which are slightly off, it sort of again puts an interesting image together. I would probably play around with the contrast a little more, make it that much more
Yeah.
impactful.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a
Yeah.
good contention. Yeah,
Maybe a little bit of orange filter on your black and white
yeah,
processing, because that
that's true.
orange filter
Yes,
will bring up the blue in the sky. But what I also liked is that horizontal line running across the wire.
yes,
Now that again is
yeah,
gutsy, because it nicely divides the
yeah,
frame into a square and a rectangle on top with a triangle. So it's got its own charm. I
yeah,
mean, it was a close call. This is also a very beautiful image, but we had to choose just one. And Prithvi's picture had more story happening, but this is also beautiful. I mean,
graphic.
Dhaval, so well done. Let us move on to the next one. Maybe okay. This is done by one of the guys who won it earlier, Nikhil Desai. As I keep joking about it, we call him Bullet Desai because he loves riding his bullet motorbike, and he's got a pet name called Bullet Desai. So, yeah, I think over to you, Jaideep. You go for it first, then we'll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. The whole blue, green, yellow impact really works.
Hmm.
Quite interesting, but we just felt that that shadow should have
Yeah.
been doing something.
Yeah.
It's too passive.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see a story. Who is this person? Is he a sports enthusiast? Is there somebody having a glass of beer after a game, or what's happening? I think that person, that shadow that's there, that could have been a more integral part of storytelling, and they're a bit passive. But I like the colors are nice. They're, again, pretty
Yeah.
interesting colors. That shadow is so promising. There's so much you could
Yeah.
have done with that shadow, and
Yeah.
I think that image slightly cropped to the right, even without anyone and just a shadow. Even
Yeah.
within that, there could have been some possibility. So I think
Yeah.
just that passive shadow to me didn't work.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I like the colors, and the composition is quite interesting.
Yeah. So I agree with what Jaideep is saying, because we discussed this yesterday, and we said that at least if he was leaning on the banister over
Yeah,
there, if he
yeah,
was just leaning, it would have made it look like he's looking into the cricket ground. Because
yeah,
this one looks posed, and almost we discussed the word "chaukidar ke jaisa khada hai,"
yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah,
what's happening right now. Too much in
yeah,
attention, because the moment you bring in a human element, there has to be
yeah.
something. It should not look posed. It should look
Yes.
natural that he's there for some reason.
Yeah,
But what I
yeah,
loved about the picture is there's a three clear divisions, the three rectangles that I can see over there,
yeah,
and that oval of the green. Fantastic. The sky on its own, that straight line, and it's hitting right almost the center of the frame. And then this yellow ochre patch with this thing. Just if he had been leaning a bit towards,
yeah.
or his hands up on the railing, he would have made a great picture.
Yeah,
But
I think.
yeah,
Sorry, I think when Bullet Desai, I think, is there giving a big laugh.
yeah, yes,
Uh,
yes,
uh, I think when you are creating a canvas, the orange is a canvas that you created, and your eye is going to go there. You are then responsible to put something interesting out there. So that I thought, because the canvas is just demanding attention. It's yellow. It's in the foreground. I mean, it's right there. That's why I think we were stuck there a little bit.
yeah. Good to see some of our old colleagues. Vipul Bhagat is
Yeah,
on.
I know Vipul's there. I see him.
The
Hi,
famous
Vipul.
makeup guy. He's on. I think
Yeah,
he's saying, yeah,
yeah.
lovely, lovely to see all these guys from our
Vipul is
not so
legendary.
distant past. Yeah, Vipul's doing some great work for
Yeah,
fashion makeup. Vipul's a legendary makeup artist who's worked with us all
yeah.
for quite some time. Yeah, he's going hello over there. Okay, to the next one. We had a long chat about this one as well.
Yeah.
So, Jaideep, go for it. You had,
Yeah, I thought that story with the again, there are a couple of things going that are not marrying each other quite well. I like the fact that you have the green tree and you have the shadow, the blue, and somehow if the story could have been just green,
yeah,
dark blue, and light blue. That would have been really. I know it's a really tricky one to get because you've got all that stuff going on, but you've got this nice graphic story with the green and the blue, and then you've got that syntax taki with those three birds. So because that's right there in the center, and it's this really different color, it's set up so your eye kind of goes there, and once it goes there, there's not something that is that interesting that's holding my attention, that's giving me food for the eyes or soul or anything like that. So
right,
I would have liked more play with the green tree and the blue
right.
shadow, and the lighter blue wall. I think we're discussing about that. It's so beautiful, that blue shadow of the tree, the green. There's a lot of hope out there.
Right. So this is by another student of ours. Her name is Saumini Shinde. She's from Kolhapur as well. So it's good to see some of the students who've already passed out, and they're participating and doing some great work, even out of their house or whatever. There are a lot of them working on these things.